back to This is Taiwan Live. Dr. Max Lo here and Mark. And today we're going to continue with Yang Liu Designs when East meets West. Okay, so today I'm sure Mark has a lot to offer. Okay, given his experience. Okay, so make sure you stay tuned. Don't go away. Okay, Mark, how are you?
I am good, Max. I think, yes, I can contribute a lot this week because we are shifting our focus. The last set of diagrams we had talked about were cultural,
right,
and social types of things, but what we're moving into now is a direct business style of diagram that we can talk about. And I have the experience of managing local Taiwanese people as well as being managed by local Taiwanese people. So I think I'll be able to help you out a lot.
Oh, I'm sure you do. I mean, I have known you for so many years, and then I heard you talk about all those stories or situation in the Taiwanese workplace or in an international workplace all the times. And then I would love our listeners or our viewer there, and then get to share what happened to you. Okay, so but before that, since our topic today is more like work-related situation, so I want to open our episode today by sharing with one of what happened to me when I first went to school in US.
Sure.
Okay, so when I first went to school in US, and in an North American manner, the Western etiquette, when you first meet someone, that we do handshake, right?
Yeah, handshake.
Do handshake, and then, hey, what's wrong? It's just a handshake. What's so special about this handshake? So what surprised me was that how strong the grip my American is. Okay, so I thought it was simple. It was just a handshake, but then it turned out that the grip was really strong. It almost felt like my American friend was trying to arm wrestle me. It was like she was trying to prove that, okay, you're stronger, you're bigger, or what. But that was my first impression. But later on, I found that, okay, it's actually an important business etiquette in North American culture. Okay, people, make first impression through handshakes. A strong handshake shows a lot of respect. A strong handshake also shows sincerity. Mark, is that correct? I mean, this is...
Yeah, for sure. But not just that, but it shows confidence.
Right.
It shows that you are confident in meeting somebody, and they can feel that, right?
Right.
You don't... So many times you go to shake someone's hand, they just offer their hand across like this.
Soft.
And I don't even know what to do, right? It's like you want to kiss their hand, but it's an important thing. To have a good, confident handshake is important.
Right. So, well, the reason I share that experience is just for our viewers to know that small things in the business setting could make big difference. So Mark, why don't you describe
let's start here? Let's start easy, right? Something that everyone can relate to, and it's just simply the Western versus Eastern perception of punctuality.
Concept.
Time concept. And the diagram we have here is the Western side. It's 12 o'clock, hour hand, minute hand on the 12, where the Eastern side is wavering 5 minutes before, 10 minutes after. So it's obviously showing a bit of a discrepancy. And I have to agree, but remember that I also think that punctuality is definitely a personal thing. Some people are just more punctual than others, but in general, I would have to agree. If the meeting is at 12 o'clock or 6 o'clock, I'm there 5 minutes before, and I'd be seated ready to go. And my Taiwanese colleagues 5 minutes after, 10 minutes after.
Okay.
And it just seems to be accepted. And for me, I felt both as a manager, as an employee, I felt awkward. I'm like, are we not starting this? Like, is there a lack of respect there? Maybe you can shed light on this concept. Is it not a big deal in Taiwanese business culture to be on time?
Okay. Before I try to explain for our Taiwanese culture here, so allow me to ask something for our viewers there, because it has a lot to do with punctuality. So in English, punctuality, for us, we got confused a lot with on time and in time. So would you clarify that time concept a little bit for our viewers right there?
Sure. On time is on time. If it's 6 o'clock, it's 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock on time.
Right. And in time is like, you could say, okay, we're leaving for dinner at 6:15. Make sure you get here in time for us to go. Right. So you're still setting a time limit, but it's a little bit different. Yeah.
So I guess in that sense, I mean, what you observe in the Taiwanese working setting is we are more like in time. So, but in case of punctuality, it's more like on time, right? When you say 12, it's 12 sharp.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, I really like to say something for Taiwanese culture, but I have to say, if you're not on time, then it means you are late. Okay, no excuse for that. No excuse for that. But I guess Taiwanese culture, we tend to have a little bit more tolerance in terms of time concept. Okay, and then you can observe this kind of tolerance in time concept in many Asian culture. Okay, well, except Japan. Okay, you can see this in Thailand, in Vietnam, or in Indonesia. Okay, so I don't know how to justify that, but has it created any inconvenience to you, like working in the Taiwanese business setting?
It's not inconvenient. It's just uncomfortable.
Okay.
Right. Because like I said, I've been in a position of being a manager and calling a meeting, and people show up 10, 15 minutes late.
Okay.
And there's not really an acknowledgement of being late. They just show up. So as a manager, I have to think, okay, well, do I get mad?
Right.
Right. If this is a cultural thing where time is,
do you point this out?
Do I point it out?
Right.
You know, there's lots of things to consider.
Right. Because you don't want to embarrass them, right?
You don't want to embarrass somebody, but at the same time, you're like, I called a meeting for 6 o'clock. It's 6:15. Why are you want to go? Why are you late?
Right.
And it is kind of a cultural thing here that people float that on time thing quite regularly. I think as you manage people in a different setting, you learn, as we say, to pick your battles. Right?
Pick your battles. Okay.
Is this something worth fighting for? Is this something worth? I think what I would say in that situation, just casually mention, okay, you guys, next week meeting at the same time. Let's just try and be on time. Just sort of casually throw it out there, and then and see what happens. So
yeah, hopefully they can getting more and more closer to getting more and more close, or closer and closer to the time that you want them to be show up.
Yeah. In my experience, it's been punctuality has been trumped by culture a lot, because we used to have meetings with our Italian group. Italians, okay. Right? So, and we're talking 15, 20 minutes late, where there's a room full of people on a video call here in Taiwan, Taiwanese, foreigners, a bunch of mixed people, 20, 30 people. And the guys from Italy are 15, 20 minutes late. And they flip on the video, and then we finally get to see them, and you're thinking, okay, apologize. They're like, hi, how are you doing? We're just out for coffee, and let's.
So it's normal to
let's get the meeting started. I'm like, it's been 20 minutes. We've all been waiting.
Yeah, because they were having coffee.
They were having coffee, right? And I guess that is normal for their culture.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So. Well, in that sense, it's kind of mixed this social setting with the business setting. I had Thai students in my class. Okay, but in terms of Thai time, okay, I guess you can share a little bit about Thai time or Chinese time too. Well, I mean, for them, 25 minutes, 30 minutes would be considered on time. Okay, in terms of social setting.
Social setting. Yeah.
Social setting. Okay, so I mean, for me, if you have 20 to 30 minutes leeway, okay, but imagine that the business setting, you would think 30 minutes late is okay. So I remember you traveled to Thailand a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we had meetings. I think in a business setting, most of our meetings were okay.
Okay.
As far as time, yeah. Lifestyle in Thailand is different, right?
Right.
But I think they were pretty much on time. The Thai people that I worked with, they had a little bit different culture than I think other Southeast Asian places, they wanted to please you, right? And they knew being on time would please you.
Okay.
So that's maybe goes against their culture, but they're like, okay, we need to please the boss, so they'd be on time.
Yeah. I try to ask my Thai friends about this, punctuality in Thailand. Well, one of the explanation I get, well, I mean, it's not about. I'm not trying to provide an answer to this situation here. Well, based on them, what they say is, well, Thailand is hot. Okay, sometimes it rains a lot. Okay, so when it rains, you have traffic, and then when it's too hot, and then you want to take a nap. So, and then all this, our all of our this life, everyday life habits, sort of kind of get in the way in our business habit. So. Well, I think it also happens to Spanish people, right? In Spanish culture, they have this.
The Italians are the same, right?
They have this nap culture. So nap is the most important thing. So everything will have to delay or postpone because of that, or coffee time.
Yeah, it's also. I mean, I think in a lot of European cultures, they've established that life trumps work. Right. So the things that are important to them in their life, sure, they have a job, but it's not what governs their everyday activity.
Right.
Right. Coffee is important. Socializing is important.
Yeah.
And the job will take care of itself. But I do have to say, when it comes to time for me, I am super picky about it. It really makes me uncomfortable when people are late in a classroom setting, a business setting. And I have to swallow it. I have to bite my tongue sometimes, especially in a larger cultural group, but it bothers me.
Okay. Well, I mean, I have to say I agree with you. Being late is never a good thing in a business setting. Okay, so this is something for you to think about. Okay, well, I heard about one explanation for this being late in Taiwanese culture is. Again, I'm not providing an answer to a situation here.
But you're providing experience.
Experience, yeah. My observation here. If you show up on time, okay, your host might not know what to do. Okay, so they might not be ready to expect you to show up on time because we are so used to that. Okay, yeah, if I say 5 p.m. and my friend's gonna be here at 5:15. Okay, so like it's kind of like we are accommodating these situations. Okay, so
I'm gonna have to say that that's on the host.
Yes.
If I'm the host and someone shows up 5 minutes early, I should be ready for that. Yeah. Right? I'm the host. I'm the one in charge, so I should accommodate for that. As far as I'm concerned, the expression that applies here is better never than late.
Better never than late.
Not better late than never. Better never. If you're going to be late, don't show up.
Yeah. Well, then again, sometimes if we show up too early, okay, or being on time, we might look imposing. We might look disturbing, okay, because the host is not ready, or like if you show up on time on a meeting, maybe the meeting is not ready. So, well, that's one of the explanations I observe. Okay.
Yes.
To a situation like this.
But in a Western culture, if you show up to the meeting early, it shows that you're keen. It shows that you're eager. And you might get FaceTime with the person hosting the meeting before the meeting starts. They'll know who you are.
Right.
Oh, hi, I'm here for today's meeting. You're so-and-so? Hi, my name's Dr. Max Lo. Nice to meet you. So you get a little bit of one-on-one time before everyone shows up, which is all never a bad idea.
I understand that, right? But in Taiwanese culture, I could be wrong. If you show up to a meeting too early, okay, you might seem rude. Okay, I don't know if you have you ever observed that?
I've never heard of that, but because you were Taiwanese, so maybe I've never heard that. Right, I don't see being early as ever being rude, I guess.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, I could be wrong, but what I heard is if you show up in the meeting, too early, okay, you might seem disturbing. Whatever, they might have to stop everything that they're doing right now, and then just to host you or to.
Sure, I think. Okay, let's pick the time 12 o'clock. All right, the meeting's at 12 o'clock. If you show up 10 minutes early, that's not bad.
Yeah,
if you show up a half hour early,
yeah,
then of course they're just setting up. That might be uncomfortable, right? Like, what do I do with this person who's this early? But a little bit early is fine.
Yeah. Well, like you say in the beginning, when we talk about punctuality, I mean, this is really depending on the culture. And then this is not about right or wrong. Okay. Well, in business setting, we all prefer on time right now. I think that would be the standard now.
I think it's fair to say if you don't know the culture, be on time. You can't be wrong for being on time, right? You can't. If you're on time, you're on time. Then no one can hold that against you. So just be on time.
Agree.
Yeah.
Okay. So take it with you. If you don't know, be on time. Okay. If you don't know the culture, okay. If you're new to a culture and you have a meeting, make sure you show up on time. It's never wrong.